I don't need anyone. I don't care what the world thinks. I make my own rules and follow my own path. I am a Sigma male. Do you think these words are positive? If a person religiously follows these lines, can it have a dark side? Think for a moment or replay the first 5 seconds. Sigma males are estimated to make up only 1% of the population, but they account for 10% of the world's leaders, innovators, and rebels. While their distinctive traits often set them apart in a positive light, there's a shadowy aspect to this independence. In this discussion, we'll delve into the lesser-known, darker facets of the Sigma male persona. Number 1. Unapproachable directness. Unlike their outgoing alpha peers who love being around people, Sigmas often keep to themselves, preferring solitude over social gatherings. This can lead to challenges, as life has a way of showing us that we need others. There are moments when we need a helping hand or someone to lean on during tough times, like dealing with emotional struggles, loss, trauma, health issues, or legal problems. For a Sigma male, being in such situations might mean facing these hardships without someone to support them. While being independent and reserved has its benefits, this can be considered a downside of the Sigma personality. Furthermore, Sigmas are known for their strong-willed nature. They stand firm in their decisions, rarely apologize, and expect others to accept their choices without question. This assertive attitude can be challenging, especially for those who find themselves alone. In the real world, success often requires not just personal strength, but also resources like power, money, and a supportive network. Without these, a Sigma may encounter numerous obstacles on the path to achieving their goals. Number 2. The lone wolf's burden. Sigma males are reminiscent of those intriguing, quiet characters in films who show up, take care of what needs to be done, and then disappear just as quickly. They cherish their solitude, but this lone wolf demeanor can sometimes make them appear aloof, as if they're living in a world all their own, with an invisible "do not disturb" sign around their neck. However, this preference for solitude can become a trap, leading them toward feelings of isolation and potentially depression. There are individuals who try to fit into the Sigma mold by severing ties with others, which is a significant mistake for their mental well-being. If being an introvert and valuing your privacy comes naturally to you, that's perfectly fine. But if you're forcing yourself into isolation, it could be a harmful path or dark side of Sigma. Number 3. The Ice King cometh. Have you ever tried talking to someone and felt like all you got back was a cold breeze? That's a Sigma male on a bad day. They're not trying to kickstart the next ice age, but their habit of sidelining emotions in favor of logic can make others feel a bit left out in the cold. It's not that they want to be seen as cold or distant. In their view, emotions are often seen as excess baggage that complicates decision-making. Therefore, they lean towards logic and efficiency rather than empathy and understanding. Consider a moment when you really needed someone to just listen and understand the emotional storm you were going through. But instead, you received logical solutions, hard facts, or maybe even silence. That's the Sigma male at work, solving problems like a calculator with legs. They often forget that sometimes we don't need answers, just someone to say, "I understand." This way of being can cool down relationships, making friends, family, and partners feel as if they're being left out in the cold. They might start to question if the Sigma male cares at all, interpreting his logical approach as indifference. It's like being wrapped in a blanket that's too thin. You're covered but not cozy. But here's the kicker. Often, the Sigma male doesn't even realize he's turned the emotional thermostat down. In his head, he's being efficient, not unfeeling. It's a protective shield, a means to stay sharp and not get bogged down by the emotional static around him. Yet to others, it might feel like they're reaching out for a warm hand and touching a statue instead. Number 4. Puppet master moves. Sigma males are sharp thinkers, no question about it. They can read people as if they've studied a manual on human behavior. However, when they're backed into a corner or under stress, they might start to control situations and people with a bit too much skill, becoming like puppeteers who manipulate with precision. In these moments, they can come across as if they're emotionless robots, caring for nothing but the outcome. Imagine playing chess with someone who's always thinking 3 moves ahead, able to predict your every decision. That's what it can feel like dealing with a Sigma male when he uses his deep understanding of people to shape situations to his benefit. It's not about wanting to dominate others for the sake of power. It's more about being efficient, making sure things turn out the way he wants, especially when he's in a tight spot. But this is where things start to get complicated. In his efforts to navigate social situations or reach his goals, a Sigma male might create such a complex scheme that others feel caught in his net, manipulated without even knowing it. Friends, co-workers, or partners may begin to question if their thoughts and actions are genuinely their own or just parts of Sigma's elaborate plan. Trust starts to fade, giving way to suspicion and uncertainty. Are they appreciated for themselves, or are they just pawns in a strategy? This darker aspect tends to show up when a Sigma male feels threatened or pressured. Rather than tackling issues directly, he may prefer to work from the shadows, orchestrating events in a way that secures his position or success, but leaves others feeling exploited. It's a form of self-defense, one that keeps him away from direct confrontation, but can end up pushing people away. The irony is that the Sigma male might see these actions as merely solving a problem, not recognizing the emotional damage caused. To him, life is like a complex puzzle where variables need to be manipulated for the best outcome. However, relationships aren't equations to be solved, and people aren't issues to be fixed. When the game is over, the Sigma male might find himself the king of an empty chessboard, surrounded by pieces that no longer wish to play. This highlights an important lesson for the Sigma male, that power and insight must be used wisely, and sometimes the strongest action is to simply be real and open, embracing vulnerability and connection. Number 5. I don't care vibes. Imagine you're at a party where everyone bursts into laughter over a joke, and you're the only one not smiling. Not because you didn't understand the joke, but because you weren't paying attention in the first place. That's often the case with Sigma males during their less sociable moments. They're so disconnected from the group's narrative that they miss out on the shared laughter, confusion, and the common experiences that bring people together. Despite Sigma males not seeking validation or approval, it's important to remember that humans are inherently social beings. This intense independence can unintentionally come off as if they're looking down on others or showing disinterest. To some, it might seem as though the Sigma male believes he's too good for the everyday aspects of life, making those around him feel neglected, as if they're trying to reach someone who's emotionally and intellectually distant. At times, this characteristic can lead to a form of self-chosen isolation, turning the Sigma male into an island that's admired from a distance but hard to actually get close to. Oddly enough, this detachment isn't always intentional, but rather a defensive tactic to steer clear of the complexities and vulnerabilities inherent in human relationships. The real test for a Sigma male lies in striking a balance between valuing his independence and recognizing the natural desire for connection. It's about understanding that it's possible to follow your own path while still being in sync with the world around you. It means realizing that indifference to public opinion doesn't have to translate to indifference towards people and the world. By addressing this shadow aspect, the Sigma male can shift his story from being an outsider looking into a perceptive individual who, despite his distinct outlook, remains an integral part of the communal experience. In the tapestry of the Sigma male psyche, these traits weave a complex picture that is neither wholly dark nor entirely light. It's a spectrum where strength meets vulnerability, independence intersects with isolation, and intellect dances with introspection. Understanding these shadows is not an indictment, but an opportunity for growth, reflection, and ultimately, a deeper connection with the multifaceted nature of being a Sigma male.